it's Jessie V. So you guys have been requesting these videos for a while now. Ever since I brought up that I used to be a lifeguard, everybody has wanted to know about all of my crazy stories, which is fair enough, you know. This is a storytime channel. So I decided to talk about those experiences today. This video is filled with like mini V times. It's V times within V times. Inception.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the first story is gonna be about how I saved someone's life, because that's probably why you clicked on this video. I really hate when you click on a video because the title is super interesting, but the YouTuber doesn't talk about that specific thing until the very end of the video. Like, come on, why are you keeping us in suspense? So when I was around 16 years old, I was a junior lifeguard. Junior basically means that I didn't complete my very last lifeguarding course, so I was like a level behind all of the big lifeguards. I just didn't get around to doing the final course for some reason. And no, it wasn't because I was lazy. I think I was just in school and didn't have the time really. But yeah, being a junior lifeguard basically meant that I was the one to guard the slide, so I would make sure that all the little children were going down the slide properly, and I would also tell them when to go down. You know when you go to a pool and there's a slide and there's always like a lifeguard on the top of the slide being like, okay, go. Next person. Next person. You know what I mean? That was me. It was really boring. It was like working a factory job where you're constantly doing the same thing. That was me. Except I was like, okay, next person. Go, 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 go. My hand like hurt afterwards. Oh, and I also cleaned up around the pool deck, which was super disgusting, but I did it because it was a job. And it was really hard to get jobs when I was 16, so I took it. I was like the assistant lifeguard to all of the real ones. I only had little and pointless jobs. I never got to sit on those really tall lifeguard chairs. You know, the ones where you literally have to climb up a ladder to get to? The chairs are like way up in the clouds. That way the lifeguards got to see like everybody in the pool or the beach. They were like the all-seeing eyes. The eye of Mordor. But yeah, I never got to go up there. It was kind of sad. But anyways, let's get to the main story, okay? This particular day, I was busy cleaning up the pool deck, and I noticed that the two lifeguards that were on duty were like really busy talking to each other, and they weren't exactly paying attention to what was happening in the pool. In fact, they weren't just talking, they were full out flirting with each other. You know when flirting is so obvious that it makes you want to throw up? Yeah, it was just too cheesy. It was like the cheesiest flirting ever. You know, like the guy was all like,
Could your eyes get any bluer? Your eyes are like the ocean.
Oh my gosh, stop. Have you seen your arms? Have you seen how muscular they are? Oh my gosh.
yeah, like that's what they were doing. It was gross. Like, could you not save it for after your shift? Like, dude, ask her out for dinner and talk about it later. Talk about your arms and your eyes later. But I was not the type of person to like call someone out on that. Like, I wouldn't go up to them and be like, stop flirting. That's not the type of person that I was. In fact, I was super shy back then, so I didn't say much of anything. So I just tried to mind my own business and continue cleaning up this really gross pool deck. And you know what? I never understood why there was always like these massive clumps of hair all over the tiled pool deck floor. Why? Like, were people just shedding all over the floor? Like, we're not animals over here. If you're shedding hair all over the place, clean it up. You know what I mean? But anyways, I was there just doing my disgusting job when I started to hear a lot of splashing. Like, behind me there was just so much splashing, and I started to hear this like little girl's voice. But it was sort of difficult to understand because it was kind of drowned out by the splashing. So instinctively I turn around and look at the pool, and I see this little girl like flailing her arms around in the deep end. And those stupid lifeguards had no idea. They had no idea. They were off in La La Land. They were too busy looking at each other rather than the pool. So I just made a run for it, and I dived right into that water. And in lifeguard training, we're taught how to approach somebody that's drowning. You really have to be careful, because when someone is that scared and they're like trying to breathe for dear life, sometimes they'll grab you or they'll take your neck and they'll try pushing you underwater to get on top of you to get air. So I approached this girl cautiously, but still quickly, and I was very lucky because she just let me kind of take hold of her and bring her to the side of the pool. She didn't didn't like try and hurt me or try and climb on top of me. It was actually fine. So I pulled her over to the pool wall and I started yelling for help. I actually even blew my whistle to get the attention of those lovebirds over there. So finally they came back to reality and saw what was going on, and they ran over to me and helped me get her out of the pool. And luckily she hadn't inhaled too much water, so we didn't have to do any CPR. We just had to sit her there and calm her down because she was definitely in shock. All she really had to do was go to her mom, and then her mom would have to take her to the doctor, because when you're in almost drowning situations, you should always go to the doctor afterwards just to make sure that there's no extra water left in your lungs, because some people don't do that. They think that just because they didn't actually drown and they were saved, that they don't have to go and get checked out, but you really do. Because the people who don't do that will go home and lie in their beds, and during the night they'll actually drown in their sleep, because when they're lying back, all of the water that was at the bottom of their lungs goes upwards towards their throat and their top of their lung area, and they actually choke to death. They can't breathe. So guys, if you ever inhale a lot of water, please get it checked out. So anyways, after I saved this girl, the most ridiculous thing happens. I get called into my manager's office and she yells at me. She yells at me for saving somebody. She tells me that it wasn't my job to save people that were in the pool. It was my job to clean the pool deck and to watch the slide. And I was like, what? You're telling me I should just let her drown? And my manager was like, no, you should have went up to the lifeguards and told them what was going on. Which I thought was ridiculous, because when you see someone drowning, you don't go, maybe I should just take a walk and go tell one of the lifeguards way over there what's going on. Like, no, you instantly get that instinct to jump into the pool to save them. I mean, that's what I was trained to do. I was a junior lifeguard. I guarded people's lives. And guess what, guys? Those two lifeguards that were flirting got in no trouble at all. No trouble. I just thought it was super ridiculous, and I actually quit soon after that. I'm sure you can imagine why. I just didn't feel like people were treated fairly there. I don't know. But anyways, I have two other short stories for you guys. One day I was walking down the pool deck. I got my little mop out to clean it up when I saw this little kid in the water. And when I say little kid, I don't know. He was definitely in elementary school, maybe in like grade 3. But anyways, he was in the water kind of holding on to the walls of the pool. And guys, he was pooping. He was literally pooping while holding on to the walls of the pool. Like, this kid was pushing so hard that his face turned red. It was definitely something that I never wanted to experience. And I remember not being too sure what I should do about it. Like, do I go right up to him and be like,
Stop pooping, stop pooping.
do I do that? Do I let him poop and then escort him out of the water? Like, what do I do? It was just super awkward. Like, the water was turning brown underneath his butt. I'm sorry, guys. This is just super gross. I'm so sorry. I'm sure now you can understand how weird and gross it was for me. I love how last week I had like a video about someone peeing, and this time it's someone pooping, but at least they weren't pooping on me, okay? At least. And I feel bad for all those kids that were in the water around him, because that stuff spread fast. So I walked right over to my manager and told her that we had to close the pool because this kid was pooping in it. And she had like the same reaction as I did. She was like, what? Are you serious? And I mean, pooping in the pool was never unheard of, but it was still like something that no one wanted to deal with, you know? So we had to blow the whistle and tell everybody to evacuate the pool. And this kid just strolls out of the pool like nothing even happened. He was literally acting like he didn't even poop in the pool. He was like, it's not me, it wasn't me, who was it? He even walked up to his mom, and his mom was like, why is everyone leaving the pool? Like, what happened? And the little boy was like, I don't know, I have no idea. I think someone pooped in there. That's weird, isn't it? Like, this kid didn't even care. And there was a toilet literally 5 meters away from the pool that this child could have went to, okay? It was convenient, it was right there, but no, he chose the pool to be his toilet. So yeah, the pool was closed for like 2 hours, but the upside was that I got to go home from my shift, and yeah, that was the only good thing that happened out of that situation. And I have one more story for you guys. It's actually about the time that I was guarding the slide. So usually when I have a slide shift, I really only see little kids go down. I don't usually see adults because it's not like a massive slide or anything. It's just your average kind of medium-sized pool slide. You know, it's not something from like a water park, okay, where you're going down a slide for 12 minutes. And we had this rule in place where you couldn't wear anything down the slide aside from a swimsuit. So you couldn't like wear a baggy shirt, you couldn't wear any baggy shorts, just because there's like ridges on the slide, and we've had like issues in the past where a baggy shirt will catch on one of those ridges and like choke somebody. It would like stop them from going down the slide and choke them. So we just have this massive sign right beside the slide saying, please take off any sort of baggy clothes. Well, there was this one particular day when a mother went up the slide with her child, and the child was just in a normal swimsuit, so she was able to go down the slide, but this mother had a swimsuit on, but then she had a massive baggy white shirt over top. Like, it was so baggy that it was almost looking like a dress on her. So I politely just pointed to the sign and I was like, sorry miss, like I'm gonna have to ask you to remove that shirt before you go down the slide, which is like a super weird thing to say. Like, I don't usually ask people to remove their clothes for me, but you know, in this situation there was a safety hazard. So I just told her like, oh, you can just give me your shirt and I'll hand it back to you when you go down the slide. And she was not having this at all. In fact, she started yelling at me, and whenever I get yelled at by somebody, I instantly like just shut down, you know what I mean? Like, I just do not like being yelled at. It's the worst feeling in the entire world, especially when I was super shy back then, because I didn't have really the guts to kind of like defend myself or argue back. So I was just standing there while she was yelling at me like,
Okay, why are you saying this to me? Why?
she started accusing me of wanting to embarrass her by taking off her shirt. She was telling me that I wanted to show everybody how big she was, and like just basically telling me that I was trying to show off her size or just something stupid like that. Size doesn't matter in the situation. If you're wearing a baggy shirt that can impact your safety, I'm gonna ask you to remove it because it's my job. But this lady was like putting her weight into the equation and stuff, which I mean, it's really not my problem. You know what I mean? I'm just doing my job like I tell everybody else. But because back then I was such a pushover and I honestly felt kind of bad for this lady, I was like, okay, you know what? Just go down the slide. I looked around, I couldn't see my manager anywhere, so I was like, just go down the darn slide, okay? So she did, and just as she hit the bottom of the slide, guess who walked out onto the pool deck? My manager. She saw everything, and needless to say, I got in huge trouble. I feel like half the time I was just getting into major trouble when I worked at this pool. So yeah, I only worked there for about 2 years, and then I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm finished with this. But anyways, guys, those are my lifeguard stories. I hope you enjoyed. As usual, my social media information is below, along with my vlog channel and my P.O. Box information, so check that out. And until next time, guys, bye!